Hi everyone, welcome back to another tutorial. If you're new here, my name is Dee and I'm going to be taking you through on how to make this beautiful sweater dress over here. I hope you love it as much as I do. So before we get started, please remember to subscribe. It has actually come to my attention that most of my viewers are not subscribed to my channel, so kindly subscribe and help my channel to grow and reach more audience. Thanks in advance for subscribing. You can make this sweater short or long, or small, as I'll be showing you. Making this sweater is simple, guys. You're going to need your hip measurement, and then you're going to divide that by 2 to get the front and the back panel. For my sweater here, this sweater is an extra large sweater, and I used the hip measurement of 50 inches to get the front and the back panel. So you're going to divide your hip measurements by 2. I divided mine by 2 here and go 25 inches. And then you're going to divide that number. I divided 25 inches by 2 to get this middle point here. Okay, so this is 12.5 inches from this point to the longest point, and then that's also 12.5 inches. Okay, so for your foundation chain, you're going to make a chain starting from the shoulder all the way to where you want it to stop, and then we're going to keep on increasing until we get to this point. Then once we're done with that, we're going to make decreases until we get enough rows for the other side as well. Then we'll join the shoulders, the sides, and then make the neck. I used the I used the double crochet stitch for that. Then we're going to make the sleeves and make the ribbing here, and yeah, that will be it. So let's get started. One more thing, guys, in case you want a tight fitting, what you're going to do is stretch your work to get those measurements that I just gave you. Okay, so for the materials, I'm going to be using these Red Hat Super Saver Jumbo Stripes. I used 4 of these for a size extra large, which we're going to be making in the tutorial. And then for the hook, I used an H8 hook, which is a 5mm hook. 5.00mm hook. Then you're going to need a tape measure and some scissors. Okay, so let's dive into the tutorial. I'm going to start with a slip knot. Insert my hook, and I'm going to make a chain of 100. Now keep in mind that your foundation chain is how long the shortest part of your sweater is going to be. So I'll chain 100 and it measures up to 28 inches, as you can see here. That's how long my chain is without it being stretched. So to start our first row, we're going to add 2 more chains, and then we're going to make a half double crochet in the 3rd chain from the hook. So skip those 2 chains you just added and make a half double crochet in the 3rd chain from the hook. I'm working in the back loops of my chain, so I'm going to be making half double crochets until I get to the end of the chain. Here we are. This is what I have so far, and I have 1 stitch left to make to complete my first row. To start your second row, you're going to chain 2 and turn your work, and then you're going to make a half double crochet in the very first stitch, working in the back loop only. The chain 2 does not count as a stitch, so you're going to make 1 half double crochet in the back loop only of your previous row until you get to the end. When you get to the end, I like to go through both loops instead of one in this very last stitch. It's optional though, you can still go through the back loop only. To start row 3, you're going to add 4 chains and then turn your work. So now we've started making our increases. Then you're going to skip the first 2 chains and make a half double crochet in the 3rd chain, and make 1 half double crochet in the next chain, and then continue working in the back loop of every stitch until you get to the end. So that's how we're going to be making our increases. Okay, so continue making 1 half double crochet in every back loop, and I'll meet you back once you are right here. Again, while ending my row, I'm going to go through both loops to make my last half double crochet. Okay, that's row 3. Row 4, chain 2 and turn your work, and you're going to make a half double crochet in the very first back loop of your stitch, and you're going to continue making 1 half double crochet in every back loop until you get right here at the end of the row. Okay, so now I have 2 more stitches left. So once you get to the end here, you're going to chain 4 to make our increase. Turn your work, and then you're going to make 1 half double crochet in the 3rd chain from the hook, make a half double crochet in the next chain, make 1 half double crochet in the back loop of the next stitch, and keep making 1 half double crochet in every back loop of every stitch until you get to the end of the row. So guys, I went ahead and finished my row 5. Now I'm completing row 6. Okay, and I wanted to start row 7 with you guys so I can show you one more time how to make an increase. So this is row 6 we are completing here. You're going to make your last half double crochet on top of that very last stitch. To start row 7, you're going to chain 4, turn your work, yarn over and make a half double crochet in the 3rd chain from the hook. Skip 1, 2 and make a half double crochet in the 3rd chain, make a half double crochet in the next chain, and then continue making 1 half double crochet in every back loop of your previous row until you get to the end. So it's that simple, guys. That's how we're going to keep making our increases until you get to where you want that pointed part to stop at. That's how long it's going to be. Okay, so we're going to continue with that. I'm going to make mine bigger, and then I'll be back to show you guys how many rows I made and show you the measurements. So one side is straight while the other one is where we are making our increases. Okay, I hope that's clear, so I'll be back in a few. Here we are, guys. I have 33 rows completed here. Remember, the hip measurements for this project was 50 inches. 50 inches divided by 2 gives you 25. So 25 divided by 2, that means my panel right now is at 12.5 inches. Okay, that's how it is so far, and we're going to make the other 12.5 inches, making our decreases for the other side of our sweater. I hope that's clear. So this is my row 34, guys, and I'm going to be making a decrease. So I have 3 stitches left here, and I'm going to go through both loops for this stitch here, and I'm going to stop at that. So I'm going to skip the last 2 stitches. I won't work in them. I'll chain 2 and turn my work, and then I'm going to work a half double crochet in the very first stitch, and I'm going to be making 1 half double crochet in every stitch until I get to the end. And that's how we're going to be making a decrease. Okay, so you're going to make your way around until you get to the end. start the next row, and I will meet you back here so I can show you how to make a decrease. So I'm completing row 36 here, and I have 3 stitches left. So I'm going to go through both loops for this stitch here, and I'm going to leave the last 2 stitches out of work. So I'm going to ignore those 2, and I'm going to chain 2 and turn my work. And that's how you're going to keep making your decreases. So I'm going to work my way around until I get to the end, and then turn back and show you one last time how to make a decrease. Okay, this is row 38 that I'm trying to complete here, to show you one more time how to make a decrease. So you're going to work in this last stitch, and you're going to leave the last 2 stitches out of work, chain 2, turn your work, and continue working in the back loops only of your previous row until you get to the end. So you're going to repeat that until you have the same exact rows for this other side. And here we are, guys. I have a total of 65 rows completed here, and what you're going to do next is make an identical panel exactly like the first one, and we're going to join these 2 together to make our sweater. Okay, so this is how they look like. Everything is the same, so yeah. So before we start joining the 2, we're going to make a row of single crochet around the neckline, the straight line here. To make the single crochet row, you're going to attach a yarn if you have to, and then you're going to make 1 single crochet in the first row, and then make 2 single crochets into the next. 1 in the next row, 2 in the next, and then you're going to repeat that until you get to the end. 1 2 1 2 1 2 until you get to the end. So my work here increased by 2 inches after making the single crochets row. It now measures up to 27 inches. So I'm going to take off 9 inches for the shoulders, 9 inches for the neck, and of course 9 inches for the other side of the shoulders. Okay, so whatever number you get, just divide it equally, or just see how many inches you need for the neck, and yeah, just like how I have done it here. Okay, so next we're going to join the neck. we're going to join the shoulders, and we're going to leave the part for the neck hole open. Okay, so you're going to attach your yarn, and we're going to use the single crochet row, but feel free to use a darning needle or any other stitch you would like to use for this part. Continue making single crochets until you get to the stitch marker right here. So here we are. I'm done joining my shoulders, and I have the neck hole open here. So now we're going to join the sides. Okay, so you're going to measure how many inches you need for your armhole. So for me, I'm taking off 8 inches for both sides. So I'm measuring 8 inches for both sides, and I'm placing there a stitch marker. So that's how much I need for my armhole. All right, so now we're going to join the rest of the sides until we get to the end, joining all this here. So get your yarn, and we're going to attach it. You're going to make a slip knot on your yarn, or you can attach this in any other way you know how to, but I made a slip knot and here I'm attaching my yarn. Then chain 1, go back through that same space with a single crochet, and you're going to go through both sides, the front and back panel, making single crochets to join this. So make single crochets until you get to the end, and you're going to do the same thing with the other side of the two panels, and you're going to join them the exact same way. And then I'll be back, guys, to show you what to do around the neck. Yeah, so once you're done joining both sides like I have done here, you're going to turn your sweater to the right side. Okay, this here is the wrong side, just to show you guys. So I'm going to turn it to the right side. So the wrong side is now inside, so you're going to make a slip knot, and you're going to attach your yarn in the back panel around the neck. Sorry about this, guys, my daughter was not making it easy for me to record, but here we are. So you're going to chain 3, which does not count as a stitch, and then you're going to make a row of double crochets around the neck. Okay, so make double crochet in every stitch. We're going through both loops here. So here, this is where we joined from. This is where we joined the, the shoulders from. So just keep going, making 1 double crochet in every stitch until you get to the end. Once you get to the end, you're going to make your last stitch in the same stitch where the chain is coming out of, and then slip stitch on top of the first double crochet. Then chain 2 and turn your work. And now we're going to be working in the back loops only. So you're going to make a double crochet in that very first stitch, in the back loop of that very first stitch, and then you're going to make a double crochet in the back loop of the next stitch, and you're going to repeat that across. Okay, you're going to keep repeating that until you get to the end of the row. So once you get to the end of the row, your last stitch will go in the same stitch where the chain is coming out of, and slip stitch on top of the first double crochet. Chain 2 and turn your work, and you're going to repeat row 2 of the neck. You're going to repeat row 2, so chain 2, turn your work, and in the very first stitch, make a double crochet in the back loop only, and you're going to continue with that until this is long enough to how you want it to be. So I'll go ahead and finish mine, and I'll be back here shortly. Here we are, guys. So I made a total of 12 rows for this neck part. So this is how it looks. Next, we're going to work on the sleeves. Okay, so we're going to attach our yarn in the same row that the single crochet is. Okay, like where we joined from, that's where we're going to attach our yarn. So you're going to make a loop, and then you're going to insert your hook and loop it on. You're going to chain 1 to secure the yarn, and then you're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and then you're going to make a half double crochet in that same space the chain is coming out of. Okay, then we're going to continue with making 1 half double crochet in every back loop until we get to the end. Half double crochet in the back loop only. Before you end the row, when you get to this point where we single crochet from, you're going to place there a half double crochet in that very row of single crochet that we used to join. Okay, so from there just continue making 1 half double crochet in every back loop of every stitch until you get to the end. So let's meet once you get here. Once you get to the end, you're going to slip stitch on the very first half double crochet like that, then chain 2 and turn your work, and you're just going to continue making 1 half double crochet in every back loop until you get to the end. So that's what you're going to continue repeating. Here your last stitch will go in the same stitch where you have your chain 2 like that, and then you're going to slip stitch on top of the first half double crochet to join. Okay, so you start the next row, chain 2, turn your work, and make a half double crochet in the back loop only. So at the end of every row, remember to turn your work, and also that we are working in the back loop only of every stitch. So yeah, keep repeating that as many as you want your sleeve to be, keeping in mind that we're going to have a 4-inch ribbing. So yeah, for me this is what I have so far. I have a total of 30 rows completed here, and we're going to make 2 more rows of decreases before we start making the ribbing. So once you've slip stitched, you're going to chain 2 and turn your work, yarn over. You're going to insert your hook in the first stitch, going through both loops, pull up a loop, yarn over again, insert your hook in the next stitch, pull up a loop. You'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops on your hook, and pull through all. We're doing that one more time. Yarn over, insert your hook in the next stitch, yarn over again, insert your hook into the next stitch, and pull through all. And that's what you're going to repeat for this row until you get to the end. Okay. Alright, so I'm ending my row here with my last decrease. I'm going to slip stitch on top of the first decrease. Okay, so you have something like this. We are now going to make our last row of decrease. So you're going to chain 2 here, and for this last row we won't have to turn our work. Okay, So for this last row, don't turn your work. Then we're going to make a single crochet in the next stitch. Then we're going to make a single crochet decrease, insert your hook, pull up a loop, insert your hook again in the next stitch, and then pull through all the loops of your hook. Then the next is going to be one single crochet. Then the next is going to be a single crochet decrease. And that's what we're going to be doing for this row. Okay, a decrease, then one single crochet. Okay, now the next is going to be just one single crochet. Then the next, insert your hook, pull up a loop, insert your hook in the next stitch, pull up a loop. You have 3 loops on your hook, pull through all. And then next, make one single crochet. Then make a decrease here. And you're going to repeat that until you get to the end. And before you get to this point, please make sure that your arm can go through this, okay? Make sure that, you have enough space for your arm. So I'll meet you at the end of this row. Once you get to the end of the row, you're going to slip stitch in the first single crochet you made, and your work should be looking like this. This space is enough for my arm, so now I'm going to make the ribbing. Okay, and to do that, I'm going to make a chain of 14, which is about 4 inches long. So depending on how long you want yours to be, make as many chains as you want. So here I have completed my chain of 14, and like I said, this is 4 inches long. I'm going to add 2 more chains, and then I'm going to skip them and make a half double crochet in the 3rd chain from the hook. Yarn over, make a half double crochet in the next chain, and you're going to repeat that until you get to the end of the chain. So at the end of this row, I'll be having 14 stitches or 14 half double crochets. Alright, when you get to the end, you're going to slip stitch in the next single crochet there, and then you're going to slip stitch in the next single crochet. Those 2 don't count as stitches. Then you're going to yarn over and turn your work, and then you're going to skip those 2 slip stitches and make a half double crochet in the first half double crochet from previous row. Then you're going to repeat that, working in the back loops only. Okay, to end the row, I'm going to go through both loops like how we've been doing. Then chain 2, turn your work, and then you're going to repeat working half double crochets in the back loop only until you get to the end. So once you get to the end of the row, you're going to slip stitch in the next single crochet, slip stitch into the next single crochet. Again, those 2 don't count as stitches. Turn your work and repeat making half double crochets in the back loop only, and you're going to keep repeating that until you get around the whole sleeve. And then I'll meet you back at the end of the row. Alright, I'm done making the ribbing of my sleeve, and this is how it looks. And we're now going to join. So we're going to join these two sides together, and again we're going to be using the single crochet row, the single crochet stitch, sorry. So you're just going through both loops of both sides and making a single crochet, and you're going to do that until you get to the end. Once you get to the end, you're going to go through the very last stitch. Go through the very last stitches with a single crochet. Then you're going to go back in that same space with a slip stitch. And then chain one and cut the yarn. Then you're going to pull that tight to make sure it's secured, and then you're going to weave it in. Okay, so this is where your darning needle comes in. And you're going to do the same thing for the second sleeve, and you'll be done. So this is how my sweater looks. I really love how it turned out. I hope you love it too. And thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in my next tutorial.